All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming back in after your picnic in Central Park. So we're wrapping up our controversies in liver disease with a presentation from Hoon regarding the normal range of aminotransferases, which, surprisingly, is actually quite a controversial topic. So and it's a lot of sort of recent interesting data. So Hoon, thank you.
Yeah, the upper limit of normal before we even start at St. Luke's.
What is that?
69.
69. Okay. I'll tell you the reason why.
There's liver disease there.
Yeah. Well, not that high. Some centers are like a 79. So okay. Okay. So Hoon, I'm the liver fellow here, and I'm gonna talk about the normal range of aminotransferase, which is very common test with always order, like routine test. But the normal range, a lot of debate about that. So we're gonna discuss about it. At the end of discussion here, I want to have your own range of normal. Okay, so what is the aminotransferase? So AST and the ALT, they are kind of enzymes. So they catalyze the transfer of alpha amino group from alanine and aspartic acid to the alpha ketoglutaric acid. So in 1959, Dr. Orlovsky, yes. In 1959, he published many papers about the AST. I think he's a cardiologist at the Sloan Kettering here in New York. And then he suggested the normal range of AST 8 to 40 and the ALT 5 to 35. How many of you think this is the right range?
9.9.
Okay.
It's closer.
Okay, closer. Okay.
It's better than the 69.
Okay, better than 69, yes. How many of you think this is too high? Okay, so we're going to talk about it. So, where they are? I mean, AST, ALT is in the human body, and the AST known to exist in the liver, cardiac muscles, skeletal muscles, kidney, brain, pancreas, lung, leukocyte, and the erythrocyte. ALT main in the liver. But if you see this kind of result from the same doctor again, you see that the AST stay a lot in the heart and the liver, also in the skeletal muscle and the kidney too. Quite high number, right? And the ALT mainly stay in the liver, but still a lot in the kidney too. So they are everywhere in the body. But the ALT is more in the liver compared to the AST. They think that ALT is more specific for liver disease. So they are more focused on the ALT rather than the AST when they talk about the liver disease.
I think that's a really fantastic table, like really old school.
Yeah.
Table. I would say that in the case of like rhabdo or like myositis, hepatologists tend to think that the ALT, if it's up, it can't be just skeletal muscle, but clearly
but still possible.
Muscle,
yes.
Even though it is more AST.
Yes. Still, even the kidney disease is possible too.
Yeah.
So you have to keep in mind that ALT is not only for the liver; it stays over the body. So how they measure it? There are several ways to measure it. Okay. So there are two ways to measure. The first two are the one measuring the amount, and the other two here are measuring the rate. So chromatography, they just using the paper and then they check the amount of glutamate. And the colorimetry, I think one day one of the medical students was doing some venture, and then she was talking about this kind of colorimetry method to measuring the AST, ALT using the cell phone kind of things. And that one is measuring the amount of product in the enzymatic reaction. So they are measuring the pyruvate by the color intensity. So whenever the change of color changes, they check how much colors are changing and they measure the amount of product. Compared to that, the spectrophotometry is the one measuring the rate of the transamination reaction. So they use a specific wavelength to see how much light absorption is changing. And by the way, they measure how much AST is there. And the fluorometry is similar to the spectrophotometry, and they're just measuring the fluorescence instead of just the wavelength. So there are 4 ways to measure it, and these two, the colorimetry and the spectrophotometry, are the most common way to measure so far currently. The question is, are they same? Because one is measuring the amount and the other is measuring the rate. So in the normal range, so one colorimetric change is about the same like one spectrometric unit change. So in the normal range, they are correlating very well. But if it goes to the abnormal range, one colorimetric unit change is similar to two spectrophotometric change. So once it gets out of range, the two methods are different. So we cannot just believe the number by itself. We have to figure out what kind of method has been using to measure the AST. And also, the enzymes in the serum, if they are stored at room temperature for 24 hours, the enzymes are stable. If they stored 4 Celsius for 5 days, they are stable. But once the sample is frozen and they thaw it again and measure it again, the enzyme activity may not as good as like a fresh sample. So now we know, okay, so it depends on the method, it depends on the temperature, it depends on how they store and store the kind of sample store. And how we define the normal range. So there are several ways to define the normal range for the lab result. The traditional way is that they just get the healthy population, they check the 95% of range of the lab result. So they're going like 2.5% to 97.5%. So this two-sided way. So anything beside of this range are abnormal. That's the traditional way of defining 95% of normal range. But there are other way to measure it too, which is in the 95th percentile range. The reason is that the distribution is not the normal distribution. Sometimes it's like a skewed kind of distribution. So, and then they don't care about the lower side. So they just use a one side from 0 percentile to 95 percentile.
The problem is they have to measure it in a healthy population.
Yes.
Not
So
the ones who come to the hospital.
Yeah, this is another big issue in the normal range of AST. So, but yeah, there are two kinds of like a way to measure the what is the normal range. And you can see here, if you think the 95th percentile, the level, the normal range should be less than this kind of 97.5% range. So keep in mind about that. There's another way to define the normal range.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about this first two cases already, and the other one is using the RC curve. So we have a set of patients, normal patient, and we have some set of patients, liver disease. And based on the AST level, we try to find out what is the sensitivity to detecting the abnormal patient, or detecting the liver disease. So try to find the perfect point to say that this point we can say this is the normal range. So anybody is above that is more likely to have a liver disease. We're defining as abnormal. Somebody if is lower than that, this is more likely normal patients, so defining as a normal range. So that's the way they can do it. So they use the RC curve. They find out the maximum point there, and they say, okay, this number 3 may be the normal range. There's another way to do it. They're using the relative risk of the lab. So we have some set of patients, and they have their own specific AST levels. Okay, this kind of level patient, they just live like the other normal patient, normal population. Okay, these are normal numbers. Somebody is some number they are dying early. This level may be abnormal too. So that's the way they can use the mortality data to define the normal range. So there are several kinds of ways to define the normal range on the AST. So,
Did you have the Korean life insurance?
I'm gonna show about that. I have 57 slides. Talk about
You have that one there.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk all about that today. Okay. So the first, let's talk about the difference between the labs. I told about how they measure. It can change the normal range, and how they store the sample, and what temperature they are measuring the sample. Change a lot. This is the study from the NASH Clinical Research Network. So they got 11 centers, and they check the all normal range between the centers. You can see that some center have like almost like a high number, like 79 as a normal number. Some centers say that, well, this one 31 is an upper limit of normal range. So it differs a lot between the centers. And also, what are the factors affecting the normal range of AST/ALT? I talked about the method already and the machine they're using it. Temperature, sample storage, and age, BMI, genders are known to affect the AST/ALT levels. And what time they are measuring the sample in a day, a single day. So the same study, NASH Clinical Research Network, they send the same sample to 11 centers. Same sample, 11 centers, and ask them to measure it. And this is the difference between the centers. So they send the sample is above about the upper limit of a normal AST/ALT. Some centers saying that, well, the range it must be like a 40 with a unique sample. Some center came out like more than 60, almost 70s. Some centers saying that, well, it's about like 50s. So there's a lot of variation between the centers. The question is that, well, we have some patient with some from outside hospital came here. Well, AST is 40 and ALT 50. Is there something we can interpret like the same result we have in this hospital? Nobody knows, right? Because the lab may be different in how they measure. So a lot of variations. As I told you already, the age, based on the age, the AST/ALT level differs a lot. So the normal range of AST/ALT has not been defined in the pediatric population yet. You can see that like the AST/ALT trending down from the birth slightly to like 15 to 20, and then goes up. This is study done like 1975. You may say, well, some patient may have Hep C, or some patient have obesity and the NASH. So that's the reason as they growing older, the level may go up, but still, age is affecting the AST/ALT. Also, the AST/ALT is affected by the weight. So you can see it's the same study in 1975. So you can see all this kind of trend. So as they get heavier, the numbers going up. So definitely the weight is affecting the AST/ALT level. Also, you have diurnal variations. Depends on what time day you are measuring the AST/ALT. So they said that when the patient is sleeping, they do have a lowest number, and about like 3 p.m. the level goes up. So it depends on what time you're seeing the patient, what time the patient is drawing blood, and they change a lot. You can see the difference from here to top to here, 55 to like a 68. It's quite high number, right? We are talking about the AST/ALT normal range like 30s, 40s right now, but the variance by itself is really high. So ACG last year, they came out with a paper, which is a recommendation about the AST/ALT, and then they talk about the new True Health normal ALT. They said a male 29 to 33, female 19 to 25. So number came out from this table actually. So male 29 came out from here. 33, they ignore some over here, but 33 came out from here. Female 19 came out from here. 25 from here. Okay, I want to go one by one for all these studies to tell you why this isn't right. Okay, this one, 40 and 40. This one is from the NASH Clinical Research Network. They didn't get any data. They just recommend 40 and 40 as a traditional numbers. So there's no data about it. So we're not going to count it as a real evidence for 40 and 40.
I'm just confused by this image.
Yeah.
So it says national machine specific mean.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you look at J, the error bars are within the main bar.
So yeah,
Can you just?
I can tell you about
I'm not
that.
sure how to look at this.
Yeah. So it's all confusing. Yes, it is. I took some time to understand what it is. So this one, yeah. For example, like this one. Let me do this. So B. So this, the bar is this. Yeah. This one. Yeah. This whole building here is the number from the lab. Okay. And this gray kind of bar here
Right, I
is
see
the
it.
normal range from
Yes.
the center.
Yes, that one makes
But
sense.
so we know that that hospital using this machine, right? So they compare the national labs which are using the same kind of machine and what is their range, and there is this dark bar.
Yeah, I'm not understanding where the national machine specific means. So you said a certain set of samples were sent to different labs. The same
So-
samples?
They did not specify exactly how they got it. I assume that maybe from the manufacturer, because whenever you have a machine, they send out all the manuals there. They have all the data based on the labs and how it's like a range for each kind of test. I think they got it from that,
Okay.
but I don't get any specific information about how they got the kind of additional information.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this one, the first one is just simply for lab reference, not from any data. Okay, that's the foreign point. Second one is the study for this one, Keaton et al. They suggest 42 for males with BMI less than 23, and 66 if the BMI is more than 23. This is a high number. They didn't use it here.
That's the wrong idea.
Yeah, really remarkable.
And then they said that the study was derived from the reference population with a Hep C, which is wrong. So this is a study. So they have like 10,000 blood donors in France. So they include the patient with a Hep B, Hep C, HIV, HDLV, and syphilis. And from the patient, they have a several method to define the ASA normal range. This is method 7. They use a 95th percentile, not percentile. Okay, I told about how to define. And they found that less than BMI 23, 42, more than BMI 23, 66. But this is for the male. This is for the female. So this is the result they came out there. And for any reason, they didn't use this kind of result. But the blood donors were not the healthy population. That might be the reason they didn't use it. So there are some patients without using the alcohol. Okay, some patients smoking, some patients taking medication, and most of them were younger patients. Probably all the other studies, they are all younger patients because they're looking for healthy population. And they don't know about the diabetes patients. So this is a study, they got it. It's a high numbers, they didn't use it in their recommendation. Okay, so this comment is not right. They used just blood donor without Hep C, Hep B. At the end of the study, they mentioned that they have some set of Hep C patients. They are comparing how they are working the new criteria, but the data was from the blood donor who do not have any Hep C. So this is wrong. Okay, so the third one.
Do you have a particular dislike for Qual?
Well, I mean, when I saw this paper, I was upset.
This is
I could not understand why they used it. So this is I just going one by one. Okay. So the next one.
Yeah.
All he's doing is summarizing it.
Yeah. So next one, this study, they 30 and 19, and yeah, they use this one. The study here, they use about 4,000 blood donors with a normal BMI, normal cholesterol, glucose, and then no other medication. Patient using only a small amount of alcohol, and they exclude the patient who has Hep B, Hep C, HIV, or syphilis. They use the 0 to 95th percentile as a normal range, rather than the traditional 2.5 to 97.5. right? And they took the patient only for less BMI. So everybody is lean, nobody is obese. And then they come in like a 95th percentile, what is that, 5th, 90th, 30, 19. As I told you already, if you use this 97.5%, the level will be already higher, right? This one. So from this one, they recommend that levels. As I told you already, this is 95th percentile, normal BMI, and young age. And I mentioned that age affects the ASA. Right?
So was the study that ASD used for the guideline?
Actually, ASD didn't have a specified about that. Okay, so this is some room. Well, maybe acceptable, but there's a room maybe can be higher than this one. Next study was this study. This from South Korea, and this study used the patient who had a liver biopsy. So they had like 1,000 patients with a potential liver donors. So they are getting the biopsy for everybody there for the living donor transplantations, and they proved that the patient does not have any nephroid or NASH, and then no inflammation, no fibrosis. About 1,100 patients. Among these patients, they took 665 people who had low risk for nephroid on top of that. Even they proved already there's no nephroid here, but they already another set of patients who were really, really healthy. So BMI less than 23 based on the Asian criteria. Low glucose, no cholesterol, and then they set the normal as a 97.5 percentile, not percentile. And then they found the BMI, glucose level, and cholesterol correlated at ALT level. And they're young patients, of course, because they are donors. And then if you count 1,100 patients, the normal range they said 35, 26. Yeah, 35, 26. If you count only these 665 people, 33, 25. Any more time for it?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that they used a lower BMI cutoff because
Yep.
the patients that seem like lean NASH who are South Asian or East Asian, they tend to be right at that 25,
Right.
26.
And they proved the biopsy already, right? So there's no fat, and they got these kind of numbers. Okay, so the limitation with this study, this is a young population and Asian population. These are the donors, so must be selected populations, right? So they are really healthy. They may used to drink alcohol some, but they stopped drinking for a while, I guess, before they came to the biopsy. And then they may be some like weight, but they were doing a lot of exercise to make thin, and they came to get the liver biopsy, I guess, to donate the liver. So these are really selected population, but 35 and 26, if you count it as a 97.5 percentile. And this 33 and 25 is a 95th percentile. But their recommendation was this 35 and 26 actually. The next one is this study. They say 29, 22. And this study came from the NHA study. So their study is from 1998 to 2008. And they got 3,700 people with a low risk for liver injury. So Hep B, Hep C negative, low alcohol consumption, no diabetes, normal BMI, and waist circumference. And they compared this population with a Hep C patient. And basically they get the blood sample, pause it, send it to the central lab, and they measure it up. So I told you at the first time saying that if you freeze a sample, okay, the enzyme activity may go down, right? So this may be lower than the real numbers. And then what they did is they did this way. So they're trying to find out which point is the maximum point, maximum accuracy to find the patient with abnormal and liver. So somebody have a liver disease or not, they try to find out the maximum accuracy. So that's the way they got the number 3 here, which is like this kind of area. And they got 29 and 22 for male and female. So these are the number they got. Okay. So
What is the normal BMI?
BMI 25 here. So the weak point of
Wait,
this study.
go back. That is a really weird. So 30%, according to this, would have abnormal value. I mean that. So
Yeah.
to me, that just says this is. You can't define normal as something that's abnormal.
Right.
30%.
So that's the limitation of this kind of way
Clearly,
because
this is not a good way to go
because
about.
compared to the traditional way, like
Yeah.
95%
Yeah, clearly
Yeah.
this is
of patients should be normal, people should be normal, but this is not the case.
not working well here.
So this is the frozen sample. Okay, so it may not be accurate, and also they use that kind of RC curve to define. So can we use this number as a number? And this way, the measurement of weight, the defining this kind of number is totally different from the others, right? Because these are the one used the RC curve. So the normal range, can I just use it? I doubt about it. Next one is this study, weight. Okay, this is study in Germany, I guess, yes. So 250 asymptomatic normal workers, they are coming for just health exam, and they got the blood from there, and they excluded the patients who have some liver toxic medication, chemicals, and liver disease, alcoholism, drug dependence, and hepatitis. And they just got these kind of numbers here. They saw this 30 and 42 as a normal range, upper limit of normal range. And okay, but here they say 33.
Do they?
Okay, so this is not right. They use it like a 33 here, but the recommendation from the paper is 42. I guess they just got this 33 number here. This is a lab reference, not the recommendation. So now we have all this kind of limitation in the study, what they are suggesting as evidence. I cannot believe what they are saying.
Can you go back?
Yep, this one.
What could it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at AST.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right.
So how do you think right now? What's the normal range of AST?
Well, sure isn't 69.
Okay.
More confusing.
So another AC. If you see the recommendation for the ACG, they talk about the mortality data too. Okay. So I told you another way of measuring the AST/ALT normal range, comparing the mortality to some level of AST/ALT compared to the general populations, and if they are about the same, they might be normal. If they are dying early, they may be normal, right? So they kind of, way to measure. They show these papers as evidence. I'm gonna go one by one. Oh, these papers too again. So the first study, they said 18, and they said AST 18. Well, I don't know why they say AST, but they say AST 18 and 18. And 3 times increase in all-cause mortality in the study. So this is a study, 8,000 male construction workers, and then this from Germany, and the lab range they do have was 22 and 19, which is measured at the 25 Celsius. In the paper, they mentioned that it is same like a 40 if you measure at 37 Celsius. Okay, and then based on that, normal versus abnormal, they found the abnormal LFT, they have a higher mortality. But as I told you, this is the 25 Celsius measurement, not 37 Celsius measurement.
Well, so they're like construction workers in the U.S. Their alcohol consumption is significant.
Oh, yeah, right, in Germany too, yes.
Right.
So there's another factor too. So they use the 18 and 18, but basically this is 40 and 40. The measurement should be at the 37 Celsius. So we shall use 18 and 18. Okay. Next one, this study. This is a study from South Korea. So they have a 93,000 male and 47,000 female, age 35 to 59. They're using the national government and the school employee medical insurance data, like a public employee insurance data. And then they follow up to 8 years. And as you know, the Korea is a prevalent Hep B there, but they don't know if the patient has Hep B or not, but they don't have any information on the epidemiologist. and they use the death based on the death certificate, and they calculate the relative risk of death for each groups. So they classified like 20, 40, 20, 22, about 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and more than 100. So they say like less than 20, well, they have a relative risk like a 1 for them. Yeah. And then if you're like 20 to 29, slightly higher. Same kind of trend seen here. ALT, like, yeah, so if the level goes up slightly higher than 20, the risk of that, relative risk of that is going to be going up higher. Think about this kind of concept. So because you have this kind of population, you are comparing small group with the whole population. So if the AST, ALT is low, comparing to the patient with the allowable abnormal AST, ALT, they're going to have a low relative risk of death, right? So it should be low anyway in this kind of population. As the level goes up, they're going to get some patient with like a Hep B, NASH, somebody may have a normal LFT still. They're going to be included in the patient population there, so they're going to have only a higher relative risk of mortality.
But I think the significant p-values were 1.2 and 1.3 in men, so 20.
Yeah.
Basically, above 20 in men.
Yeah.
And above 30 in women.
But
Statistically significant increases in relative
yeah,
risk of death.
so that's the statistical significance. The problem is that this is a big data. It's a big data set.
Yeah,
So any small change going to be significant.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
140.
So we have to think about, is it really clinically relevant data or not? Because big data, if you have like a 1 to 2, they're going to be different statistically. Because it's a big data. So you have to think about it. So
Isn't that a 20% increase in mortality rate?
Yeah, it's very significant.
I think it's clinically significant as well as statistically.
And I think 140,000, quote, relatively normal. So even if you give 10% of the population Hep B, which we know is about right in Korea, but most of those have normal liver enzymes anyway, so
yeah.
It probably doesn't make any difference.
But then at the higher, like you don't have a dose-dependent effect. So you have like an ALT of living greater than 50 goes back to 1.2 because there's so few deaths in that group. So it's odd that it wouldn't be a dose-dependent.
Well, it is, actually, it is in the men for most of it.
yeah, so AST is the man there. ALT here, like, well, yeah. And then if you see the ALT here,
But you've only got three women in that group, three deaths. There's only 3 deaths, so.
So what I'm saying though, but like, it's big data and there's still 369 people in that group, but there were so few deaths.
so that makes the p-value significant anyway. Because one big data and small patient data, you compare it significantly. So this paper, this is their recommendation. They use the RC curve again. And they said 40 and 40 are here, 40 and 40 are here. They said 31 for AST, 30 for ALT as an upper limit of normal. This is what their recommendation.
Well, actually, they're not just recommending that, they're putting their money on that, actually, because this is the insurance company.
That's the insurance, yes. Well, actually, this is not an insurance company. This is one of the private university, but they just got the data
But this is what they're
going to use that. They're going to use it. That's true. Right. So this is the study from there, 3130.
So all the deaths in the previous table were from liver disease?
No, not all. All cause mortality, including the liver and the cardiac, all of them.
So that would be another.
Yeah. So they said 31, 30, but they just said 20 in the table. So the actual proposal from them is 30 for ALT.
Right, but the insurance company is using 20.
And the next one is this one. So this is the 45 and 29 for ALT. Okay, this is the 30 in Mayo Clinic.
I'm really confused. Go back. So they're reporting relative risk of liver mortality. They really had no liver specific data?
They do have a data for that, yes.
Okay, so.
But yeah, all cause mortality they used it.
this table, you say it's all-cause mortality.
It's all-cause mortality,
But
yeah.
there must be some more data, or they wouldn't be
Yeah,
able
some
to.
more data, but
Yeah.
only for the liver specific, yes.
Yeah,
But we are talking about the, well, so when you think about the AST, ALT, is it only affecting the liver or the whole system? Because we know the AST, ALT can be like their social behavior with the alcohol drinking and how they are driving
no,
the
no,
car.
I get it, I'm just saying, this data set may not be what informed their selection of the cut point. The cut point may have been based on liver-specific mortality, and so,
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
This is-
You're right,
this is-
you're right,
yeah.
you're right, okay.
On the other hand,
I
well,
agree.
we know that Hep C infection, no matter what the ALT,
Yeah.
increases all-cause mortality
Yes,
by
it is.
300%, by 3 times.
And this study done in
So-
South Korea, and all our Hep B patients must be there too, like
Right
everybody
around that.
has an inactive,
3 times.
yeah, hepatitis with a chronic infection.
Probably.
No, seriously.
Okay, so the next one is the one this from the Mayo, and then there are 18,000 patients measured AST and 6,000 patients measured ALT in 1995 using the Olmsted County and Rochester Epidemiological Project. They used the 31 for AST, 45 ALT male is 45 and 29 for female, and they followed the patient for 10 years. The reason they used this number is just this is a reference lab result. So it's from the lab, not from the data. But yeah, this is what they are using it, they just used it. And that based on the level, they calculate the SMR, standardized mortality ratio, compared to the Minnesota white populations to see if they die early or if they die late. So if you see that one, like somebody who didn't get the lab measured, they have lowest mortality in the AST, and if the AST normal 0.95 SMR, if the 1 to 2 times of range is a 1.32, and it's going up as it goes up. And ALT, somebody who didn't measure 0.9 of SMR, somebody who is normal 0.6, and somebody who is in the 1 to 2 times 1.2, which was not significant, and more than 2 times, 1.51. And they made this curve. And then if you, I talk about how to define the normal range based on this kind of mortality data. If you put a line on it, like one there, the woman maybe like a high 30s, and the male maybe like the 60s. Okay, so basically this study did not suggest any normal range of AST, ALT, but this table came out from the ACG saying that 45 and 29. So they didn't propose it. The last one is this one. This one is a study using the NHA. Yeah. And then they have about 50,000 patients, participants from the ENHANCE in 1988 to 1994. They checked the 12-year mortality in the patient data and patient negative for Hep B and C. They used 30 for male and 19 for female as the upper limit of normal. And when they used this criteria, they found that ALT elevation 1.2 of hazard ratio, which is not significant. For the liver disease, is significant. So all-cause mortality is not significant. And they found that diabetes 3.3 of hazard ratio, which is significant. And after that, they adjusted for all these kind of factors. So they adjusted for race, BMI, cholesterol, blood pressure, smoking, alcohol, caffeine, all these things together, and then they found that ALT is not significant factors. Of course, it's not going to be because they have too many factors in the population, and because too many factors decrease down the power to detect the significance. They say it's not significant. And
obviously, the other problem too is their suburban and rural distribution. The Sentinel counties for NNs don't include any cities.
Right, that's true.
Actually,
So some patient like
this could be the same as Olmsted County.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Well, there's probably just as much alcohol and maybe even more of
It depends on-
it. Really, the only factor might be industrial pollution, apropos what Joe had studied years ago.
Right.
And when they used the 40 and 31, they found the same kind of findings too. So no much difference in the result. So ALT was not a significant factor. So it was frozen sample because it was enhanced studies, and they did not propose this level, but they just said in the ACG recommendation they wrote down the story in 19. And then there's an increased liver-related mortality, but there's no significant change in the all-cause mortality. Yeah. So this evidence I cannot count defining the ASD. So ASLD is a PASL. There's no official guideline about the ASD levels. ACG is only one talking about this kind of levels. I believe that because I told you the evidence that many of the evidence are not the real solid evidence, and it's really difficult to find because there are so many factors affecting the ASD. If you read the ACG recommendation, they mention that repeat the lab panel and perform a clarifying test. And they in the diagram there, they said that if the borderline elevation and after HNE,
These are only guidelines for NASH, right?
no, this is for ASALT.
So this is not from Post paper.
This is post paper, yes. That study, that paper is not for the NASH.
It's just ALT elevation.
ASALT elevation.
Defining
The ASALT, yes. And after basic lab, they recommend to repeat like a 3 to 6 months. So they recognize that well, it's very variable, and sometimes we cannot believe the labs. That's the reason they are talking about the repeating the labs. Somebody who we don't know if the patient really have liver disease or not. This kind of trend has been going on. Not only the ACG, this is a British society. They are recommending interpret after review of previous result. So not only the single result is important to have a multiple result to confirming that this is really abnormal. And then also on the other side, they mentioned that it doesn't matter how's the level or duration of abnormality, we may have to watch for it. So some patients still have a normal range and they may have liver disease too.
Level 5, grade D.
Yes.
It's like getting lower than that. That's a simple wild ass guess.
And this society mentioned that using the lab reference range, not the specific range too. And well, it's only also same like the expert opinion. This from the Mayo's Clinic. They say like if the patient have a less than 3 months, less than 3/4, no symptom, the liver function is okay, repeat in 3 months. Why? So it's really difficult because of the variability of AST-ALTs. So AST-ALT are short-term and like a mid-term and long-term variability. And if the patient is changing, how can we interpret the change of AST-ALT? That's another question. So we know this diurnal variation already. I talk about it. The big change depends on the night time when the patient is sleeping in the hospital. We wake him up, get the blood. Gonna be this one, and some patients are actively outside and come to the clinic. They're like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Get seen by the doctor right away and get the blood test done. Gonna be higher. And there's some short-term variability study. This is the study from I think it's from NIH. So Hopkins. So they use the enhanced 3 studies too, and that they use 40 for male, 31 for female, and the mean interval between the two tests is 17.5 days. And initially the 5.9% patients were elevated AST/ALTs, and the 30 patients after 17.5 days came down to normal. And the mean within percent coefficient of variation of 20%. So right now about A number, about 20% may be changed in 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. So this kind of variability is possible, but keep in mind. And there's a mid-term variability which is unpublished yet, and use the 40 as a cutoff, and regardless of sex or BMI. This is a single VA study, so single VA hospital. I got all the population there and all the labs, and I excluded the patient just who had a lab test done within a month. I excluded the patients and seeing somebody at least like a month of interval between the first and the second lab. And then, yeah, group the patient 1, 2, 3, 4 based on the AST ALT level. So ALT normal range group 1, group 2 is 1 to 2 times of normal, and the group 3 is 2 to 3 times, and group 4 is more than 3 times of normal ALT. And mean interval between the lab was 182 days for first and second test, and 168 days for second and third test. And somebody who is a normal at the first time, 90% they stay normal in the second time. And somebody is between 1 to 2 times of ALT, or 40% coming down to normal next time. Somebody have like 2 or 3 times of normal, but 16% coming down to normal second time. Group 4, which is more than 3 times of normal, they 23% coming down to normal. So we know, okay, now we know first and second measurement how they are changing, right? How about the third and fourth? So this is the same studies looking at somebody was normal and normal the first 2 tests. The third test, 93% they are staying normal. It's the same like a fourth test too. Somebody saying at least twice normal, they're going to be normal the next test. Somebody who is coming 2 to 1, somebody was abnormal, just came down to normal, 70% staying normal in the third time. It's the same like a fourth test too. Somebody like more than 2 to 3 times of normal, coming down to the normal in the second test, well, 70% they are staying normal in the third test, and 60% in the fourth test. Somebody was like more than 3 times of normal, came down to normal in the second test, 70%, 80%. They are staying
Sorry,
normal.
what was the study group?
This is by me.
What was
The
the
VA.
study group?
This is the VA.
So this
Yeah.
The single VA.
hospitalized outpatient, like what patients?
All, including inpatient and outpatient.
Okay.
But I expect that most of the inpatient, because they get the measure done, and then because I'm excluding the lab within a month.
So that's very, very different. They include
Yeah.
hospitalized patients.
Well, including VA patients is
Yeah.
also very, very different.
Yeah, they're very
It's not
different.
it's highly selected
Yeah.
for groups
Yeah.
with liver disease.
So, but yeah, because this is just kind of trend we can see. Okay, this may be the trend habit. Anyway, so how they are using the ASALT right now so far? So ASALT guideline about Hep B, the new recommendation 2018. Now they say the male 35 or female 25 as an upper limit of ALT. Used to be 30 and 19. They put it back up again.
And of course, that has absolutely no relationship to morbidity or mortality
Okay.
in Hep B.
So this is what they're recommending. I think we have to think about what is the cost effectiveness changing it, and then because we don't know if we change the level of ASAL to normal range, and then how they're gonna affect the future mortality. We don't know much about it. And the early hepatitis 2010, no specifications, and the long term. This is about transplantation patients, so it's very specific. They ask about the normal ASAL. They did not specify the normal range, and NASH 2018 guideline did not specify the cutoff too. So only Hep B recommendation they specify the normal range of ASALT. And the EASL's guideline, Hep B in 2017, they said 40. It doesn't matter if male or female. They recommend the 40 as a traditional cutoff. And autoimmune hepatitis, which is important, ASALT too, they did not specify. Hepatology, no internal height. So future area of study. We don't have any cost-effective study on this Hep B, Hep C, and autoimmune or patient population. Well, we are trying to define the normal range in the healthy population, but when I'm using the range to some patient with a liver disease, it may be totally different. And because it may affect their mortality, it may affect how much we are spending for the patients, and what kind of invasive procedure has to be done for the patient, because the patient is just above the normal range, low new range. So we don't know about it. And we know that there's a difference between the labs machines. Is it better to have some standardized way to measure it, like an INR? We know that each lab has their own PT level, but it's too different between the labs, so there is the INR to compare between the labs, right? So is there a way we can do something like this? Another one is is it better to use just one letter versus some trend? So if you can have like a two data rather than one data, can you define better about the normal AST? So that's another area of study, I guess. So I'm going to ask you a question. What is the normal range of AST addition? Anybody can tell me the numbers? How do you think that the
I think a healthy ALT is like in the teens,
tens?
right? Basically less than 20.
So you're already like a 19.
Healthy, yeah, healthy
19.
ALT, not normal,
Normal, okay.
but healthy.
Normal, okay. I think that's a great point defining the healthy versus normal, right?
Right.
I think how are we going to define the healthy to take on your question too?
Right, because when we watch them, when we do treat 1 million people with MC, we know because their ALT obviously comes back in a couple of hours. If their ALT is 14 at at SVR4, then we know they're cured.
Yeah,
We don't have to wait for these.
Right.
So if it's 50, then it's like, oh shit, okay, there's going to be trouble because they're probably relapsed. But if it's 14, 15, 16, we're pretty comfortable that they're normal. They're
Yeah.
healthy at that point.
Does the NASH guidelines have like a cutoff?
They don't have any follow-up.
They don't
They
have
say
any-
just write down the upper limit of normal.
It's all based on fibrosis.
Yeah, well, that's,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
the
you-
bottom line is
Yeah.
no matter what, we have the luxury of having a fiber scan, right? So we just kind of look and see if they have fibrosis or not. If they don't, you just kind of monitor maybe in 6 months, but it kind of stops there. If they have fibrosis, then no matter what the AST or ALT is, you're going to then investigate further.
Yeah, when I look at the
But
guidelines,
that's not a screening.
these are the guidelines, they are talking about all kinds of like AST-ALT ratios, rather than just the level by itself, and all the fiber scan, all the kind of testing, not about the AST-ALT specific.
I also think it's dangerous to ignore a single ALT elevation because we see that a million times from our primary care guys. Oh, probably had a few martinis last night. That's why his ALT is 60. They check it again next year. It's like 39, so it's normal. And then the following year, it's 60 again. It's the 2 martini thing, and it's like it ain't 2 martinis. It's 39 is not normal either.
Right.
Actually,
Right.
so I think it's dangerous to ignore one abnormal liver enzyme.
But I guess for like the screening projects that we're doing, for the NASH and primary care, the question is what should we, is 19, we got some pushback because maybe 19 is too rigorous and there's going to be a lot of unnecessary testing happening.
The medication may get the biopsy too in the kind of situation that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would biopsy without a fiber scan.
Yeah, well, a fiber scan, yes. But some area they don't have a fiber
That's not
scan.
going to happen. I'm not worried about that, but just kind of like all the serologies and the, autoimmune antibody, all the workups that could happen in not a cost-effective way.
Well, we need to find out which lab they're using because, like I said, at St. Luke's, 69 is not normal under any circumstances.
No, I know. I'm talking like, should we, for ALT, let's just stick to ALT.
Well, it was
for a second.
69.
No, I'm saying for our screening, right now we're saying 19 for women and 30 for men should then precipitate kind of a workup for abnormal LFTs. I'm just saying, should we not be, so if the paradigm is then just to get the fiber scan first before you do a workup in the way of autoimmune and ceruloplasmin, and, what should be the order?
Get platelets.
API.
I mean, I think it's helpful to look at the FIB4 score instead of just looking at the transaminases. The NHANES data looked at many, many different predictors of mortality. And basically, so I do think even in the data that you're likely to have in that first catch of lab values, there's some more information that you can glean.
I mean, I think platelets are going to pick up people with advanced liver disease, but we're trying to pick up people even with like stage 1 fibrosis,
Right, or stage 2. And we don't see it. We don't see that in platelets until there's significantly 3, basically 3 or 4. But 3s you can pick up with a 150.
The NHANES data says you have an increased mortality at a FIB4 of 1.3, which is a pretty low FIB4 score.
And the other
And I think one thing about it is that incorporates age as a risk factor. Which I do think it's problematic that these ALT cutoffs are,
Yeah, or young age
yeah,
population, yes.
Aren't age adjusted.
Yeah.
Another implication I'm thinking of is the definition of drug toxicity. So, in terms of Hy's law, they're defined by the multiple of the upper limit of normal. A drug can be killed or imperfectly kept on the market because.
oh yeah, no, these values have very big implications.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and Mina's point is a really good one too about the cost of following up minimal elevations and how you should figure out what your stepwise protocol is to try to make sure that you use your dollars the most efficiently to get to the bottom of what is causing the elevation.
Yes, some subgroup of populations, yeah. Somebody have daily during this, somebody have transplantations, somebody have autoimmune kind of things, patients. And the change in the range of normal level affect the patient a lot. Somebody like AST 30, 35, and then if you're going to count the patient as abnormal, then do you need a biopsy to find out any rejection going on in the patient? There's going to be a lot of things for the patient. And autoimmune too, and what is the definition, and can we well, rather than just stopping confirming the patient is controlled, we're going to say, well, patient is not controlled because of abnormal AST, more medication, more treatment.
Some of it could be impacted by just tools of data analysis, because often you do have repeat measurements in the record. So with the click of a button, you should be able to see what the trend is over time.
So that's the reason the trend is very important to see. Somebody have a same kind of level has been going on for a while, and even though it's slightly above the abnormal and above the normal range, we can still count as a normal for the patient.
See, I would say the opposite. I would say, okay, this is not somebody who I can just say, okay, they're going to go into the normal range. I've just looked over 2 years of data. I've got 4 data points. It's a persistent elevation. This is a persistent elevation. And so instead of doing what Doug's talking about, of saying, well, let's put this off for 6 months, if you just access the data and looked at it on the spot, you'd be able to make use of the fact that you do have linear data on many people.
You can have right, that's true.
Ben, let's finish up with you.
So I agree that we should be aggressive to evaluate these patients with borderline ALT, but I guess the other point that you showed is that there are some people that have ALTs of 30s and 40s and they're completely normal. I mean, it happens all the time. We evaluate it and we don't find anything. So there are certain people that their ALT is borderline and they don't have any disease.
Well, Tatum, that was fantastic. Wonderful
Excellent
discussion.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.